What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today, and it's time for my Week 12 college football playoff predictions. The updated predictions as everything in Week 11 unfolded. We are now getting into Week 12. How do I have the playoff bracket shaping out? Yet again, I will preface this is not a as of right now bracket. This is not me saying, well, the 12 best teams in the country, let's throw them into the bracket. The playoff committee already does that for you. This is me projecting the season forward and predicting what I think is going to happen. And then we base it off of that, right? We go from there. I project everything outwards and I fill out this bracket. And we'll talk about that here in this video. This is going to be a quicker one because there really aren't many changes I got to talk about today. Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Nate Pope, otherwise known as Tailgate Nate. I'm a sports media graduate with a massive passion for everything going on in the wide, wonderful world of sports, but that especially includes the world of college football. So if you want to see everything I have to say throughout the remainder of this season, especially as we get into the college football playoff, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. And if you want to follow me on a more personal note, join me in my journey to reach as high as I can in the professional world of sports media. Follow me on social media at Tailgate829, Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you peruse the socials, and we will waste no more time diving in. Yet again, I will say, this is me projecting the season outward, and it spits out this bracket. And to be quite honest with you, I'm just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a rapid reveal here with this bracket because not much has changed. In fact, only one spot is different from my predictions last week. Ohio State's still going to be here at number 1. Alabama's still going to be here at number 2. And Indiana is still going to be here at number 3. I will pause right there because there's some conversation about what happens in number 4. But Ohio State, Indiana still look like they're going to be on a collision course in the Big Ten championship game. Right now, I think the Big Ten champ gets the number 1 seed because they have the 1 and the 2, the number 1 and number 2 team in the country. And the winner is going to get the 1, with the top 4 teams now getting first round byes, period. You don't have to be a conference champ. I think the loser of the Big Ten championship game as of right now gets 3, and the winner of the SEC gets 2. Right now, I see that being the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think they are the most talented team there. I think you could argue Texas A&M. I think you could argue Georgia, and those are the 2 teams that I believe are alive for 4 and 5. Now, the other part of contention that you have to throw in this is, what do they do with Texas Tech? Right? Maybe could you see Texas Tech coming in at 5? Is Texas Tech going to drop down to 6 if A&M and Georgia is sitting there at 4 and 5? So those are really the 3 teams in contention for 4, 5, and 6 in my mind as you project outwards, because Georgia and A&M are going to be the 2 teams that are sitting there to try to get into the SEC Conference Championship game, in my opinion. I believe both would have, or Georgia has the head-to-head tiebreaker over Ole Miss. I think A&M would win that as well, but again, you still got to consider Ole Miss in there, and then Texas Tech, right? If they win out, they win their conference championship game. Is there a way that they get the 4 seed? Here's what I think is going to happen right now. I think Georgia finds a way to get into the SEC championship game. That does include the win over Texas and Georgia Tech. That's the way I'm projecting things right now. So maybe a little spoiler for my predictions coming out later today. But I still got the Georgia Bulldogs in at number 4, although very, very closely behind. Here's one of the few changes. Texas Tech. So I lied. There's actually 3 spots that have changed here on this bracket. I have moved Texas Tech up 1 because of where the committee has ranked them now. Texas Tech is 6. They are even in front of Ole Miss. They're only behind Bama, Georgia, and Texas A&M. So if Texas Tech wins the Big 12 Conference Championship game, does the committee reward that by giving Tech a first-round bye? We shall definitely see. I think that's going to be something very interesting to follow here. But as of right now, I think Georgia, with the win against Texas, doesn't matter if they win or lose to Georgia Tech. However, I'm projecting they win because they won't get a first-round bye. If they lose that game to Georgia Tech, they would be sitting there in the SEC championship game. Then if they lose it as a 4-loss team, that's going to get a little dicey. But I think they get into the SEC championship game. They get that 4 seed, and Texas Tech gets that 5 seed as of right now. However, what I will say, you want to switch those 2, I have absolutely no problem with that, and you'll see later why it really is not that big of an issue at this current point, but Georgia and Texas, that's going to tell a lot about whether or not this holds true, or if Texas wins that game, then I probably will jump Tech into getting that first round bye, just with the way that I believe everything in the season is going to play out. So that leaves the odd man out, Texas A&M, sitting there at number 6. A&M, I'm projecting their only loss to be the Texas at the end of the regular season. So they're going to sit there as a one-loss team that did not make their conference championship game. So I think they're going to sit there and get that 6 seed. The 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 have not changed. So we'll run through them really quickly. 7 and 8, Oregon and Ole Miss. Now, at the end of everything, when all the resumes are tabulated up, there are going to be 2 teams that miss their conference championship games. There are going to be 2 teams that sit with only 1 loss. I think you got to look at who that loss is to. For Ole Miss, it's going to be the Georgia. For Oregon, it's going to be the Indiana. So that's one reason that I believe that Oregon will be above Ole Miss. But I also think at the end of the day, their resume has a chance to be more impressive, right? You're going to get a chance for a win against USC, going on the road to play Washington. I don't think it's going to be an easy feat. And the committee's had Washington ranked before. I know they just lost to Wisconsin, but I think at the end of the day, the committee will look at and see Oregon's resume is just that slight bit better. And when you compare the 2 losses, they have the, quote, better loss by probably a millimeter, right? So that's why I believe Oregon will be above Ole Miss. And Notre Dame playing themselves back in the conversation very nicely. I think they're going to get the 9 as of right now. Win over Pitt this week would do some really nice things for them. And then the rest of the schedule favorable on from there. 10, this is where I may have lost some of you last week, but I still got Texas right here. Even as a 3-loss team, I mean, you can absolutely make the case for a 2-loss Vanderbilt team. Nope, Texas beat them. You can make the case for a 2-loss Utah team. Okay, maybe you have a little bit of a conversation there. Cincinnati, who I'm projecting gets into the conference championship game. That would mean a win over BYU, so you're looking at a 2-loss BYU team. I think Texas would beat them out, even with 3 losses, especially if they lose to a Georgia team that goes and ends up playing for an SEC championship game. It'll help Texas even more if Georgia wins that game. But to me, the way that I've seen the committee rank these teams and the way that I believe the season is going to play out, I think a 3-loss Texas team even beats out some of these 2-loss teams that are going to be on the outside looking in. A 2-loss USC, maybe even a 2-loss Michigan if they beat Ohio State. We'll see, right? So I'm going to keep it the same as I did last week, because nothing has shown me or proven me that that's not going to be something that may or may not happen down the stretch. 11, yep, kept the same. It's the ACC champ. The way that committee is ranking that conference, Miami is the highest ranked team at this current point, but it's going to take some work for them to get into the conference championship game. I like Georgia Tech's odds, man, and especially it's going to help them if they beat their rival Georgia in the final week of the regular season. I like Georgia Tech. I think they're the best team in the ACC, and with all the chaos last week with Virginia and Louisville going down, now Georgia Tech is back again to be that front runner. Although now you got to start having the conversation, can the ACC be left out? I think that's absolutely a possibility. If James Madison continues to win out, they finish as a 1-loss Sun Belt champion. Maybe someone like SMU or Duke wins the ACC. I think especially has to be a 4-loss Duke team. They can be left out, but again, something to watch for. I just don't see that happening. I think it's unlikely, and I think Georgia Tech right now is that team. And then Texas Tech, I got them playing USF. Memphis was in here last week. Obviously, Memphis lost to Tulane. And to me, USF is that best group of 5 team, as seen in my top 20 or my Power 30 video that came out earlier today. So I believe USF right now, that G5 frontrunner. That's exactly why that they are getting that spot right there at number 12. So, all right, there you go. There's the college football playoff bracket. And from this point on, a couple of my predictions will change just because some of the teams traded places here, but really it's it's pretty straightforward from the way I had it in my last one. I think Notre Dame defensive physicality and Jeremiah Love will be a big reason why they beat Ole Miss, and you're looking at a national championship rematch right there. Texas and Oregon, again, I feel like if Texas makes the bracket, they're going to get at least one win. It's a dangerous Texas team, and it's no fault to Dan Lanning, right? That's a very good Duck team, and he's going to remember what happened in the playoffs last year. But Texas is going to have this edge to them, man, kind of like you saw out of Ohio State last year. So Texas gets that win. We have now created a storyline game here. Texas A&M, Georgia Tech. It's the Haynes King revenge game. Again, he played at Texas A&M, got benched over there, and now is coming back to play them with his new team being the focus of this offense. Oh boy, you can't script this stuff. However, I think Marcel Reed and Texas A&M will be a little bit too tough, and the Aggies stand tall in this battle here. Haynes King does not get his revenge if this one happens. I think A&M would win. And then over in your final game, Texas Tech and South Florida. South Florida, I definitely think can cause problems if they get in here. I think even a team like North Texas and James Madison, maybe even Tulane, can cause problems if they get to this position. But Texas Tech, I think, is too talented, especially up front. And the way that USF could not handle the big bodies of Miami, I think will come into play here. And Texas Tech wins that game. Okay. So you're taking a look here now at the college football playoff bracket and the way things are shaping out. Similar in the top ranks, right? Ohio State, I think, would beat Notre Dame in a championship rematch. Alabama, I think, would beat Texas. Those two teams happen to play on the football field. New one right here, man. Indiana is the real deal. You're sitting at Texas A&M right there at the 6. I'm going to give this one to Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed and company, I definitely think have the potential to, look, man, they get in this position, they can make a very nice run. Even if they get a first round bye, I think they'd have a pretty solid matchup with whomever happens to play them out of that first round matchup. So I got A&M playing Alabama in the college football playoff. How about that? And then, look, folks, I say it a lot, right? You got to have chaos somewhere. And I had Texas Tech winning the game against Indiana in my previous video. I think Texas Tech can handle Georgia. I think Texas Tech can beat Georgia. And I just get this feeling out of Lubbock that they are going to be one of the 4 teams left standing. This team plays with a very nice edge. They play with physicality. Now that Baron Morton is back, I think they have their best available option back at the quarterback position. They got weapons strewn all across the field. It's a coaching staff that's done a phenomenal job in acquiring that talent, being able to, of course, give them that NIL money. And I think it's going to pay off for Texas Tech when you get into the college football playoff. But my national championship game has not changed. I still feel like there are 2 teams that, when they get in a playoff environment, are going to just put themselves above the rest of college football. I think that's Ohio State. Sorry, Texas Tech, very nice run, but I got the Buckeyes winning that game. And then Alabama over Texas A&M. I think Bama's got the talent edge over the Aggies. While it would be a close competitive game, really a couple sets of close competitive games, I think that the Buckeyes and the Tide are going to match up here in the national championship game, and I still have not seen anything to prove otherwise on why Ohio State does not walk away as your national champions for 2025. Again, this team just has not shown you what they're truly capable of yet, and they are playing some damn good football right now. So the Ohio State Buckeyes, I got as my national champion at the current moment. And again, until I see something to prove otherwise, that's just not going to change. So, hey, let me know what you think. We'll go back to the full bracket here so you can indulge in my updated college football playoff predictions. Hey, remember to play hard but tailgate harder, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.